The Corelli's Summit was humanity's first major attempt at comprehensive peace negotiations with the Verath Collective, a powerful alliance that had maintained Cold War tension with human-dominated coalition space for 30 years. The summit represented months of careful preparation and the fragile hope that maybe dialogue could replace military standoffs. Ambassador Sarah Mitchell led the human delegation, supported by dozens of diplomats, military advisors, and specialists. Among them was Dr. James Park, a xenolinguistics expert whose role was ensuring translation and cultural nuances didn't derail negotiations. He was background support, not decision-maker, just someone who helped make sure everyone understood each other. The Verath delegation was led by High Council Representative Lysara, a formidable diplomat from the Silmuri, a species with distinctive pointed ears and skin that shifted through luminous colors. She was known for brilliant tactical negotiation and absolute commitment to Verath interests. She'd also been James's primary contact for establishing translation protocols over the last 6 months. Over those months of technical collaboration, James and Lys had developed something neither expected: genuine friendship built on mutual respect and shared frustration with how politics complicated everything. They'd had countless conversations about more than just linguistics, about philosophy, culture, what it meant to represent entire species while being treated as function rather than person. But they'd maintained careful professional boundaries because crossing them during sensitive negotiations would be disastrous. Today, 3 weeks into the summit, negotiations had reached critical impasse. The core issue was autonomy. The Verath Collective wanted guarantees that human expansion wouldn't encroach on their sphere of influence. The coalition wanted freedom to establish colonies without Verath territorial constraints. Both sides had legitimate concerns. Neither would compromise on fundamental principles, and the summit was on the verge of collapse. During a contentious evening session with tensions particularly high, something unexpected happened. Lys was defending Verath territorial claims when a hardline Verath delegate interrupted to question whether she was compromised by her excessive familiarity with human perspectives, specifically her extensive collaboration with James on translation protocols. It was a political attack suggesting she was too sympathetic to humans to represent Verath interests effectively. Before Lys could respond, James did something unprecedented. He stood and addressed the assembled delegations without authorization. Representative Lysara's collaboration with me has been entirely professional, but since her integrity is being questioned, I'll make something explicitly clear. My relationship with Representative Lys isn't just professional. I'm in love with her, have been for months. And if she'll accept, which she might not because she's far more sensible than I am, I'd like to marry her. The entire summit hall went absolutely silent. James looked directly at Lys, who sat frozen with skin flashing through colors so rapidly they were almost strobing. I know this is terrible timing. I know I'm probably destroying my career and complicating your position. But they were questioning your integrity, and I'm not letting that stand when the truth is that you've been nothing but professional despite the fact that I've been completely in love with you. So if you'll marry me, not now, whenever works, if this insane proposal is something you'd even consider, I'd be honored. And if not, I'll resign so my feelings don't continue compromising your position. The silence broke into chaos. The human delegation looked torn between horror and uncertainty. The Verath delegation erupted in confusion and outrage. Other species watching the summit were equally divided between shock and fascination. Ambassador Mitchell called for immediate recess. The Verath High Council demanded private consultation with Lys. And Lys herself, skin showing indecipherable colors, requested a moment before responding. During recess, James faced his delegation's fury. "You just proposed marriage in the middle of critical peace negotiations," Ambassador Mitchell said. "You've potentially destroyed months of careful diplomacy. What were you thinking?" "I was thinking they were questioning Lys's integrity because she's been working with me professionally. That the implication was she's somehow corrupted by understanding humans better. And I wasn't going to let that attack stand when the truth is that she's been maintaining perfect professionalism while I've been struggling with personal feelings." Meanwhile, Liz defended her professionalism to the Verath delegation while acknowledging yes, she had developed feelings for James, but had maintained appropriate boundaries precisely because of political sensitivity. What no one expected was what happened when the summit reconvened. Liz addressed the assembled delegations with skin colors showing absolute determination. Dr. Park's proposal was unexpected and poorly timed. It has created complications for both our delegations. But I'm going to answer it publicly because his feelings being public means my response should be equally transparent. She looked directly at James. Yes, I'll marry you. Not immediately. We have negotiations to complete and careers to not destroy completely. But yes, because you're brilliant, kind, and you just risked everything to defend my integrity. That's the kind of person I want to spend my life with. Then she turned to the full assembly. For 30 years, humans and Verath have maintained division based on mutual suspicion. We've treated each other as threats rather than as peoples capable of connection. This summit was meant to change that, to find common ground, to build understanding. She paused. Dr. Park's proposal, improper as its timing was, demonstrates something crucial, that genuine connection between our peoples is possible. If we can't imagine individuals from our peoples building lives together, how can we imagine our civilizations building peace? What followed wasn't immediate resolution of all conflicts. But Liz's speech shifted the conversation from purely territorial negotiations to broader questions about what peace actually means. Conservative factions on both sides remained opposed. But younger delegations, moderate voices, and species who'd watched 30 years of Cold War tensions began speaking differently. If individuals can build genuine connections, maybe civilizations can too. The summit didn't end in comprehensive peace treaty, but it produced framework agreements no one thought possible, including cultural exchange programs, joint research initiatives, and gradual opening of previously restricted territories. More significantly, it shifted conversation from how do we maintain hostile coexistence to how do we build actual cooperation. 6 months later, James and Liz got married in a ceremony attended by representatives from both governments, not because it was required diplomatically, but because their relationship had become a symbol that connection can transcend division. When reporters asked James about the proposal that shocked the galaxy, he gave his honest answer. I didn't plan to propose during peace negotiations, but Liz's integrity was being questioned because she'd worked closely with me. And I couldn't let that attack stand without making clear that if there was any compromise, it was mine, because I'd fallen in love with her while she maintained perfect professionalism. Liz said, James's proposal was unexpected and poorly timed, but it was also honest in a way that diplomatic negotiations rarely are. He risked his career to defend my integrity and to make clear that genuine connection between our peoples is possible. That honesty helped shift our negotiations from careful diplomatic distance to acknowledgement that maybe our peoples can build genuine cooperation. Because they'd learned that bold sincerity can disrupt decades of careful diplomatic distance, that sometimes the most important political acts are profoundly personal ones. And that maybe peace requires not just strategic agreements, but actual connections that make the other side real, rather than just theoretical adversaries. James's proposal shocked the galaxy not because it was calculated theater, but because it was honest personal declaration when honesty felt revolutionary. And Liz's acceptance wasn't just agreeing to marriage, it was declaring that genuine connection between their peoples was possible and worth building despite political complications. Sometimes changing history requires someone being brave enough to make a personal declaration during political negotiations, and trusting that sincerity can matter more than strategy.